Hello everyone. I'm Maria, a graphic designer and illustrator at Cases and Creative Practice. I'm thrilled to welcome you to the second course in our Figma series, dedicated to mastering this popular tool for web and interface design. In our previous course, Figma Basics, we covered the essentials: the interface, simple shapes, vector tools, images, masks, and blending modes. If you haven't taken Figma Basics yet, I highly recommend you do so, as the skills you'll learn there will be essential for working with text. In this course, you'll learn about Figma's powerful text features. While I'll cover some of these topics in this course, it won't be as in-depth. So, if you want a comprehensive understanding of typography, our Typography in Design course is the way to go. It will also significantly enhance your knowledge of graphic design, interface design, and web design. Ready to start mastering text in Figma? Let's begin. Text is a crucial element of design. It's used to convey information, ideas, and even emotions. Text on websites presents content, instructions, and other essential details. For instance, a website's FAQ section can provide clear explanations about a product or service. Text on product packaging or in manuals guides users on using a product or service. Text in articles and news informs and educates readers on various topics. For example, a personal review of a product can evoke positive or negative emotions. Text plays a crucial role in conveying ideas and establishing brand identity. It's used in various elements, including logos, slogans, and mission statements, to express a brand's values, philosophy, and overall message. Well-crafted text can elevate a design to new heights of information, persuasion, and emotional impact. The key tasks for designers working with text are font selection, harmonious font combinations, and layout. This masterclass will explore the technical aspects of using Figma's text tools to accomplish these tasks. By the end, you'll be proficient in using these tools, building text hierarchies, and applying basic layout principles. Let's dive in. There are two main ways to access the text tool in Figma. You can either click the T icon on the toolbar or use the T key. Once you've activated the text tool, you have two options for creating text elements. The first method involves a single click on the canvas. This will create a text box with automatic width resizing. As you type, the text box will expand to accommodate the content. To start a new line, simply press Enter or Return. The second method requires clicking and dragging on the canvas. This will create a text frame with fixed dimensions that Figma displays as you drag. We'll explore text frames and their properties in a bit. The process for editing text content depends on whether the text layer is already selected. If the text layer is selected, hitting Enter or Return will activate editing mode, allowing you to add, delete, or modify the text. For an unselected text layer, you'll need to double-click it to make changes. Once you've started editing a text layer, you can seamlessly switch to editing other text layers without double-clicking. Simply click on another text layer to activate its editing mode. You can also select and manipulate specific portions of text within the boxes. Text can also be imported from external sources, such as websites. Copy the desired text part using the context menu or the Command+C shortcut. Then, switch back to Figma and paste the text using Command+V. This allows you to add text directly onto the canvas. To delete the text, press the Delete key. Alternatively, you can paste text from the clipboard into an active text box or frame. Double-click on the desired frame and hit Command+V. This will replace the entire text content. To undo this action, press Command+Z. To add text to existing content, place the cursor at the desired location, such as the end of the text, and press Enter twice. Then, use the Paste shortcut, Command+V, to insert the text at the end of the frame. To customize the appearance of text already added in Figma, a special text section is available within the Design panel. This panel is activated when a text layer is selected and offers a wide range of text formatting options. The panel's parameters are arranged into several groups corresponding to different aspects of text formatting. By default, Figma uses the Inter font for new text layers, but you have the power to choose something different. To change the font, Simply select the text layer or the specific text within the layer. This will display the text properties. The current font is displayed at the top. Click on the font name to search for a font by name and apply it with a click or the Enter key. Use the filter options to browse through various font collections and find the perfect match for your design. Once you've chosen your perfect font, click the X to close the window and get back to designing. Later in this masterclass, you'll learn how to add new fonts to your system, unlocking a whole new world of typographic possibilities. Now, let's turn our attention to the font weight setting. Font weights are variations of the same font that differ in the thickness of their strokes. Most fonts offer a range of weights, from delicate hairlines to bold and impactful options. To discover the available weights for your chosen font, click the arrow next to the font weight setting. For instance, the San Francisco font offers weights like light, regular, heavy, and more. You can also switch between font weights using keyboard shortcuts. Option plus Command plus less than to decrease weight, or greater than to increase it. Want to apply a specific weight to just a portion of your text? No problem. Select the desired text segment and press Command plus B to make it bold. You can remove the bold formatting with the same shortcut. Similarly, use Command plus I to italicize selected text. Next to the font weight selection, you'll find the font size setting. This controls the size of your text. Figma measures text size in pixels, and there are a few ways to adjust it. Click the arrow next to the font size setting to choose from a range of standard font sizes. Enter your desired font size directly into the field, or use keyboard shortcuts for precise control. Hold Shift plus Command and press less than to decrease the font size or greater than to increase it. Below the font weight selection, you'll find the line height setting. This controls the spacing between lines of text, also known as leading in typography. Leading is the vertical space between the baselines of text. The baseline is an invisible line upon which most letters sit, forming the foundation for aligning text. Leading determines the amount of space between these baselines, ensuring readability and visual balance. By default, Figma automatically sets the line height based on the chosen font. This default setting aims to provide a comfortable reading experience. However, you can adjust the line height to your liking. Use the line height field to specify the vertical space between lines. You can enter values in pixels for absolute spacing or percentages for relative spacing, which scales with the font size. For optimal readability, aim for a line height of 120 to 140% of the font size. For instance, a 16-point San Francisco font would have a line height of 19 to 22 pixels. Keep in mind that line height isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. Consider the difference in height between uppercase and lowercase letters. For fonts with a significant difference, like Century Gothic, it's often better to stick to a line height of 100%. Use shortcuts for quick adjustments. Alt plus Shift plus less than to decrease line height, or greater than to increase it. To the right of the line height setting, you'll find the letter spacing setting, measured in percentages and also known as tracking. Letter spacing allows you to adjust the space between characters in a word, line, or paragraph, which can significantly impact the readability of your text. The default letter spacing value is 0%, while the maximum value is 100%, which corresponds to the font size. You can adjust the spacing for an entire text layer or just a selected portion of text. To do this, enter a percentage value in the letter spacing field. Alternatively, you can drag the slider to the left or right to adjust the value visually. The spacing can also be negative, causing adjacent letters to overlap. However, it's generally recommended not to alter letter spacing unless necessary, as type designers have already carefully considered letter spacing for optimal readability. Kerning is a related concept that focuses on adjusting the spacing between specific characters. It's also measured in percentages and is particularly useful in logos or other situations where optical adjustments are needed to achieve visual balance. Use shortcuts for quick adjustments. Alt plus greater than to increase letter spacing and less than to decrease it. The next stop in our exploration of text settings is paragraph spacing. This controls the vertical space between paragraphs, allowing you to adjust the amount of breathing room around the text in your design. Proper paragraph spacing can enhance visual clarity and guide the reader's eye. In the previous example, I created paragraph spacing artificially by inserting empty lines using the Enter key. However, a better way is to set the spacing using the text properties. Let's select the top text example for demonstration. Figma measures paragraph spacing in pixels. The default value is 0. Enter a numerical value in the paragraph spacing field, and you'll see the spacing between paragraphs adjust accordingly. Alternatively, hover over the icon, click and drag to the right to increase the value or to the left to decrease it. Keep in mind that Figma creates a new paragraph when you press Enter or Return. This is important if your text has automatic width. Let's delve into the related settings for further control. Let's create a new text box using the T key and clicking on the canvas. Looking back at the text properties, to the right of the paragraph spacing setting, you'll find the resizing behavior. This property controls how the text layer shrinks or expands to accommodate your text content. Several options are available. Auto width. The width of the text box automatically expands to fit all its content within the layer's boundaries. Figma will create new lines of text when you press the Return or Enter key. Auto height. The height of the text box automatically expands to fit all its content. Figma will wrap any lines that extend beyond the original width of the text box to a new line. Fixed size. Both the width and height of the text box remain fixed, regardless of the layer's content. Figma will wrap any additional text that extends beyond the horizontal bounds of the layer. Text can still extend beyond the vertical bounds of the text box without clipping. Note that this can make it difficult to align the text with other layers. To quickly revert to auto height, select the Move tool and double-click the bottom edge of the text bounding box. As you may recall from the beginning of this masterclass, when you click on the canvas to create a text box, Figma uses auto width. If you press and drag the mouse to create a text frame, Figma will use fixed size. Additionally, if you manually resize a text box after creating it, Figma will update the setting to fixed size. Pay attention to the changes in the text panel. Dragging the right edge will select auto height. Dragging the bottom edge will select fixed size. Again, you can select the Move tool and double-click the bottom edge of the text box's bounding box to quickly revert to auto height. To explore the next set of settings, I've prepared a few text frames. Let's select one of them and return to the text properties. Below the paragraph spacing, you'll find the horizontal alignment options. This property determines how text is distributed horizontally within its bounding box. Use the icons to adjust horizontal alignment. For instance, click the Align Left icon to align text to the left edge of its bounding box. Click the Align Center icon to center text within its bounding box. Click the Align Right icon to align text to the right edge of its bounding box. To the right of the horizontal alignment options, you'll find the vertical alignment setting. This property aligns text along the vertical axis of its bounding box. Vertical alignment can only be adjusted in text layers with a fixed size. Layers with automatic width or height will ignore this alignment setting. I'll make the frame bigger by dragging its bottom edge. Within the text properties, you can see that the frame has a fixed size and the text has been applied with the previously selected Align Bottom setting. Use the icons to choose alternative vertical alignment options. Click the Align Center icon to align text within the center of its bounding box. Click the Align Top icon to align text to the top edge of its bounding box. Let's revert the frame to its auto height setting. Clicking on the three-dot icon at the bottom of the text section reveals the expanded text panel, granting access to additional properties. At the top of the panel, you'll find a preview window that displays any changes you make. The first tab, labeled Basics, partially replicates the settings from the text section we've already explored. For instance, you can still choose the horizontal resizing behavior, adjust the horizontal alignment of the text. However, you'll also notice an additional option here. Text Align Justified. This setting aligns the first word in each line to the left edge and the last word to the right edge. Figma evenly distributes words within a justified text line. You may notice that this creates rivers of white space, uneven gaps between words. This is why justified alignment is rarely used and is even omitted from the default text section. Within the Basics tab, you can also apply various text decorations. Strike-through adds a horizontal line through the center of your text. Use it to indicate outdated or inaccurate information. It conveys the status of the text without editing or hiding the original content. To remove the selected style, simply choose the None icon. Underline adds a horizontal line along the baseline of your text. Use it to emphasize a specific portion of text or indicate a hyperlink. Generally, underlining links is considered good practice in web design. By the way, you can also hit Command+U to underline selected text. Moving down the Basics tab, you'll find the case setting. This handy feature allows you to switch between different case styles without having to retype the entire text. Here are the options. The first option is to convert all letters to uppercase. The second one converts all letters to lowercase. Title case capitalizes the first letter of each word. Small caps creates an effect that resembles uppercase letters but maintains a smaller size. Small caps are a typographic feature supported by certain fonts. When a font includes small caps, it means the designer has created a set of uppercase letters intended for use in smaller sizes. These letters are typically slightly taller than lowercase letters and have a slightly different weight. Forced small caps. These are created by simply scaling down uppercase letters to a smaller size. This can make the letters appear distorted or out of place, especially if the font doesn't have a dedicated small cap set. The next setting on the Basics tab is vertical trim. This option allows you to remove excess space above and below the text content and helps ensure that text layers behave consistently with other components in your layout. Let's select a different text box to visualize the impact of vertical trim. The Basics panel also allows you to create lists. These are a great way to organize and highlight related information. Figma offers two types of lists, bulleted and numbered. Use bulleted lists for unordered sets of information. Figma's bullet markers maintain a consistent style across all indentation levels. Numbered lists are perfect for presenting groups of ordered or sequential information. To remove list formatting, simply click the minus icon. Here are some alternative ways to start a list. Select the text tool, type dash followed by a space, and start typing. You can also use asterisk followed by a space to create a bulleted list. Or select the text tool, type 1 period followed by a space, and start typing. Alternatively, type 1 parenthesis followed by a space to create a numbered list. Keep in mind that these shortcuts activate automatic list formatting. Pressing Command+C immediately after using a list shortcut will remove the default formatting. Both bulleted and numbered lists in Figma support up to 5 levels of indentation. Let's create a 4-item list to see how it works. Select an existing list line and use Command+right bracket or Control+right bracket to increase the indentation of a line. Use Command+left bracket or Control+left bracket to decrease it. List spacing allows you to control the distance between each item in a list. The default spacing is set to 0 pixels when creating a new list or using existing text styles. Figma displays list spacing in pixels. There are 2 ways to adjust list spacing. Enter a desired value in pixels in the list spacing field, or hover over the list spacing icon and drag it left to decrease the spacing or right to increase it. You're already familiar with the next setting, paragraph spacing. Changes made here are reflected in the text section within the design panel. The Basics tab also allows you to truncate text, which hides overflowing content. Truncation conceals text that extends beyond the bounding box. 3 dots are added at the end of the text to indicate hidden content. The max line setting lets you control how many lines of text show before it gets cut off. This setting is only available if text truncation is enabled and the resizing is set to auto height or auto width. Beyond the basic text settings, Figma offers a Details tab that provides even finer control over your text's appearance. Let's explore some key sections within this tab. The first one is indentation. It allows you to enable hanging punctuation to move opening punctuation marks outside the text layer's bounding box, creating a more balanced line of text. Similar to hanging punctuation, the hanging list setting aligns list markers or numbers beyond the bounding box, ensuring a visually consistent list. As for the paragraph indent, it is a setting that shifts the first line of each paragraph, but it is rarely used in modern typography. Paragraph indent is only applicable to left-aligned text. Keep indent sizes within 4 times the font size. Considering the text frame width, the bigger the frame, the bigger the indent. Figma displays paragraph indent in pixels. Use this field to adjust the indent. Keep in mind that the indent settings apply to all of the text layer's paragraphs. To indent a single paragraph, create a separate text frame for it. Before concluding our exploration of text settings, let's delve into the numbers section, which offers properties for numerical characters. The available options depend on the selected font. Use the position setting to adjust the placement of numbers and symbols. Subscript characters are placed below the text line, while superscript ones sit above it. Both are typically rendered in a smaller size compared to the main text. The final tab in the text settings panel is dedicated to variable fonts, a powerful tool that introduces a range of dynamic options within a single font file. Unlike static fonts that limit you to one weight per file, variable ones allow you to incorporate multiple weights within a single font. For a deeper exploration of variable fonts, follow the link provided in the course materials. Having covered the core text settings, let's explore some additional features that give you more control over the look of your text in Figma. You can modify the color of your text using the fill setting. Use the eyedropper tool to sample colors from your design, or choose and adjust the existing color's brightness to achieve the desired effect. Just like any other layers, text can have multiple fill levels, opening up a world of creative possibilities. Let's try adding a second image fill layer to the text. I'll set the opacity to 100% to fully cover the text with the image. Each fill layer can be customized independently. You can also add a stroke or apply some effects like a drop shadow. Experiment with different stroke styles and effects to add dimension and visual appeal to your text. As I mentioned earlier, it is common to underline hyperlinks in web design. But how exactly do we add links to text in Figma? Let's explore the different ways. Figma allows you to add links to any text layer within a file. This can be useful for various purposes, such as directing colleagues to external websites, creating navigation to specific frames and pages within a large file, and more. For instance, let's add a link to the Wikipedia page about the author of the text I used for the demonstration, Ralph Waldo Emerson. I'll create a new text layer and type the author's name. Then I'll move to the browser and locate the desired link. I can copy the link using the right-click context menu or the keyboard shortcut Command+C. Let's go back to Figma now. You can add a link to the entire text layer or a selected part only. Double-click the text layer to enter editing mode and make a selection. Method 1. Using the toolbar. Click the Create Link icon on the toolbar. Paste or type the URL into the provided input field above the selected text. Press Enter to apply the link. You can make changes to the link by pressing the Edit button or delete the link altogether by hitting Command+A to select all characters within the link and then delete. Method 2. Using a keyboard shortcut. Make a selection of the text. Use the keyboard shortcut Command+K to open the link input field above the selected text. Paste or type the URL into the input field. Press Enter to apply the link. Method 3. Using Paste. You can also add a link to the text without using the input field. To do so, make a selection of the text. Paste the URL from your clipboard using the appropriate shortcut. Remember when I said I'd show you how to add new fonts? Let's dive into that now. Figma comes with a huge library of fonts right out of the box. These include Google fonts, which you can use without installing anything extra. You can find them by activating the filter for that specific source. For example, let's change the font to Lotto. You can see how the text updates to match the new font. Downloaded or bought a cool new font. You can use it in Figma too. But first, you need to install it on your computer so Figma can access it. Here's how to install fonts on Mac using Fontbook. Download the font file from wherever you found it. Within the interactive masterclass, we'll provide some links to resources with both free and paid fonts. Before downloading, make sure you check the license terms. They're usually on the download page. Unzip the downloaded file and double-click the font file. You might see a list of weights included in the font. Click Install in the dialog box to add them. Instructions for installing fonts on both Windows and Mac are available in the module materials. To use your installed fonts in Figma, you have two options. The Figma app itself or its font installer. When you use the Figma app, any fonts you install on your computer automatically show up in the font selection list. However, if you install a font while the app is already running, it might not appear right away. Just restart the app, and the list will update with the new font. After restarting, I can use the search to find the new font and apply it to both text boxes. If you're using Figma in a browser, you'll need to install a separate font installer. This is a safe background app that lets Figma see all the fonts on your computer and use them in your designs. We'll provide a link to download font helpers for both Mac and Windows in the module materials. So this masterclass covered the key tools for working with text in Figma. We explored how text plays a role in design, got comfortable adding, editing, and formatting text, and even figured out how to add new fonts to the editor. Get ready to dive deeper in the next module. We'll look at layout and hierarchy in text, learn the essentials of font selection, and create styles. See you next time.